Sup, Nerdmigos? I'm the Jive Talking Nerd, John Norgrove. We've got Wife here. We're back at it again for Trek Jive. This one's a little late, but that's fine. We ended up watching Picard twice, so I guess yay for me.
I mean, yay for both of us.
Yeah,
Like,
so
I like this show.
I'm excited about it. So, business out of the way. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, share, subscribe, ring the bell, and do all that kind of shenanigans. Let's get right into it. This is Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 2.
We don't know what it's called.
I don't know what it's called. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Shrike, maybe.
Yeah.
Because that's the name of the
Shrike and the Crazy Drunk Ant.
And the Crazy Drunk Ant. So in this episode, all right. So like we're doing the A plot B plot thing again. Still, the A plot is the Trek stuff, and the B plot is the Raffi stuff, which is like less Trek TME or whatever. The Raffi stuff is cool. I'm like very vested in the Raffi side of the plot because right now, how the fuck does it connect? Or are we just having two disparate plots in this season, which is insane? But more than that. Like, what the actual fuck is this Daystrom weapon that's just doing stuff? Like, we got to return to the party planet. We got to see the Ferengi, which for those of you who spoilers, duh. Again, I'm sorry, it's obvious, duh. But it's a review. What do you expect? So we got to meet the Ferengi buyer guy. We got to meet Sneed. We got to meet Raffi's ex-husband.
Yeah.
And find out that
baby daddy.
Yeah, and baby daddy, and to find out that she's not.
That she again is choosing something else over her kid. You know, I have never been on Team Raffi. Like, she's a good character, but I don't like her.
As a person?
As a person.
I don't think we're supposed to like her as a person.
I do not like her.
I think as a person, she's supposed to be like kind of a toxic person.
Yeah, she's super toxic.
I think that's very specifically what she's supposed to be.
From the very beginning.
Also, apparently she had like a massive drug problem in the past.
Yeah. From the very beginning, I have been like, this lady.
Yeah, I don't know about this lady.
Don't let her into my heart.
Yeah,
and I have not.
I don't know. I like what they're doing character-wise with Raffi, but I think
it's interesting.
But again, she is an unlikable character.
Yeah.
Like, her as a person is a person that you definitely aren't gonna like be like, here, hold my wallet while I go over here and do a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, not that she's a piece of shit. Like, she's Federation and she's like whatever.
I mean, she kind of is.
But she's also kind of a piece of shit.
Yeah. It is interesting because they're dealing with themes that we don't often see that are applied to Federation people very specifically.
Or
like
they're only applied for like
drug stuff.
They're only applied for like one episode. Like in one episode, everybody got addicted to like eye drops or that video game that shoots lasers into your eyes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff about eyes. But then it's like resolved or whatever. You know, it's always like a one and done kind of thing in Trek. And this is this like very in-depth progressive story about like leaving her family and whether or not for the Federation was like 100% of the truth or a good decision or something. And like her drug problems and like abandoning her kid and her husband and her like clearly having some issues with like not only chain of command stuff, but like in general having some issues with the like she like doesn't have the patience.
She doesn't know when to stop.
Yeah, she doesn't know when to stop. She has this like very addictive personality
with the addiction thing.
Yeah, which is nice. But so she meets Sneed, who is just a fantastic Ferengi. Oh my god, what a cool Ferengi.
Yeah.
Right?
I would have not thought that the guy Pyro from the original X-Men movies would have been such a good Ferengi, but
is that who that actor is? I do not remember knowing that.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, that's Pyro.
Nice.
Because I looked up because I was like, this guy is super familiar. Both his mannerisms and his voice, and I couldn't pick it out. And that's
I did not get that.
I
did not get that. Yeah. But it's cool. We could see another Ferengi. He had like a damaged earlobe, which is interesting. That's not a thing because Ferengi's earlobes are like
erogenous zones,
sensitive erogenous zones. But he also had piercings in his ear, which I've seen online on some of the Trek forums. People comparing to like a Prince Albert. If you know what that is, if you don't, do not Google it. Just ignore the part that I just said. Please do not Google that.
Ask a trusted friend.
Yeah, ask a trusted friend. Yeah. Which is interesting. So like very interesting. And that whole like club scene, and he's just like, if you're not part of the Federation, why did you do these meths with me or fucking whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then Raffi just like just like it's just like, I'm gonna do drugs, but I'm just gonna like Hulk through it, which was kind of fire, which is dope. But then we got our like intro for Worf, which is some John Wick level shit, bro.
Yeah.
Very cool Worf intro, right? With the like sword, with the Klingon sword, and just like tearing those dudes apart and shit. Very, very cool.
And we learn that he's her handler.
Which totally recolors all of the conversations that she was having with her handler in the last episode and this episode, which was super fucking interesting. So that the whole Raffi thing was like a little bit, I would probably say like less than a third of this episode, maybe a third of this episode. Yeah. But it was very interesting, and it moved us forward with this like Red Lady thing and the Daystrom weapon, and I still don't know how it's gonna like connect to the main story, but I think that it's gonna be Worf comes and saves the day in some sort of a ship. What I would really love is if he came and saved the day in like a Khitomer Accord, with those like new Khitomer class ships from Star Trek Online. I mean, they're not going to do that. That's like a whole different plot, but like they're very cool ships, and I would love to see one on screen. So fingies crossed. But so that was really interesting. And then our A plot was like essentially Picard and Riker just like old man and about stuff, while Picard's kid, we found out that the kid is Picard's kid,
which means that accents are
like
hereditary.
Genetic. Yeah, you can
inherit an accent.
You can inherit the English accent.
Did you know that
of your
you can inherit an accent? Because we learned
French
that.
Dad. So yeah, whatever. I wonder if the ship, like, when Beverly was raising him, she's like, we gotta raise him, and she's just like computer like teacher program or whatever, and they're like we've detected a little bit of English in there, so we're gonna have like an English teacher teach him how to talk and shit, or something fucking absurd like that. Again, even though Picard is French, whatever.
I mean, but I did like the scene of him in the brig.
Yeah.
Where he's like the hated by fathers of daughters everywhere.
Yeah. He's like the only people who are after me and hate me are like drug dealers and gangsters and the fathers of daughters everywhere. And you're just like, damn, bro, fucking flex. Okay, shit, lock up your daughters.
Which like especially connects him to Picard's legacy.
Yeah, bloody Jack Crusher's on his way. Lock up your daughters or whatever. Yeah. So that was really fun.
Hide your daughters, hide your kids, hide your wife. We don't know. Yeah. Maybe he's also the scourge of fathers of sons everywhere. We don't know.
He's the scourge of everybody.
Yeah, Star Trek Future, very.
He's a real smoldery character.
Oh, he's so pouty.
He's so pouty.
He's got pouty lips.
But like right now, I kind of don't care. Other than the fact that technically he's Picard's son, I'm just like, whatever, this motherfucker. He hasn't earned it. He hasn't.
We haven't seen him smolder.
Yeah,
we haven't seen him.
We've seen him smolder, but we haven't seen him do anything like dope, particularly.
Well, yeah. We haven't seen his game, and we haven't seen him like Indiana Jones out of a situation just yet.
He's very like give up in this episode in the early part when they're in Crusher's ship. And then Picard's the one who like sets up the things so that way they can't be transported, and then shoots the things down so they can be transported, and like whatever the fuck. So like that's kind of an interesting character device there.
The shooting down of the inhibitors,
the transport inhibitors,
hilarious to me. It reminds me so much of that scene. This whole episode is very Indiana Jones for me.
It is,
basically.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the scene in Raiders of the Lost Ark where there's the guy with the whip and Indiana Jones just shoots him with the gun.
All this stuff, and
Picard
just
is like pow 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 pow, and I'm like, that is the smartest and also silliest thing that he could have possibly done.
Yeah, totally. No, it was like the Jack stuff. Whatever. We'll see where that goes. I mean, I think it's just like early in his plot. The Picard and Riker stuff was great. Riker was like at Picard in the turbo lift when he's just like, "Are you telling me right now you do not see what I'm seeing?" And Picard's like, "Oh my god, you shouldn't make assumptions."
He's like a 20-year-old, and Riker is like come on, dude.
Yeah, he's like, bro, do the math, because I did the math, and bro, do the math. Like, very good. I love the interaction between Riker and Picard is absolutely amazing.
It does.
Seven
it
is
added
fantastic in this
dynamic.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the whole bridge crew is, you know, Geordi's daughter,
she's adorable.
just pinpointing fucking warp jumps like a psychopath for that breakup. But I think genuinely the like breakout star of this episode is the captain of the Titan,
Captain Shaw.
Captain Shaw is so fucking done with everybody's shit.
Love it.
That dude is bringing the energy of a person who scheduled a vacation, got all of the stuff together for a vacation, went to leave, and then Friday at 6 o'clock, when you're supposed to get on an airplane Saturday morning, your boss comes in and is like, hey, listen, I need all of those TPS reports right now.
Yeah.
Right, and he's just like fucking done with it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
He is so done with Picard. I mean, and he's a dick. Do not get me wrong. He is an ass.
See, I think there's another shoe.
I think the other shoe is that he's racist against
way.
Borg. I think that he was probably either he was partially assimilated. There's something about him that reminds me of a person on the Enterprise E who was like semi-assimilated in Star Trek First Contact, and like I didn't look up to see if it's the same actor or whatever, but like I get the feeling that like he has personal beef with the Borg, and potentially the Borg in direct relation to Locutus of Borg, which is why he like attacks Seven and doesn't let her go by that name, right, and makes her go by Annika, as well as he's like real harsh on Picard about being one of them or whatever in the first episode, and he's just like whatever about it.
Well,
all of that
and we had crazy drunk aunt be like something you're a psyche Val.
Yeah.
So like I think that there's definitely another shoe that's gonna drop with him that's gonna help us understand why he is the way he is.
Yeah.
I think that by the end of this season we're all gonna be like, Shaw is the best. We love him so much. So I think that that's it.
Yeah. I think that we'll probably end up being like, oh, like we love Shaw, but for right now he's still a dick. However, he's so done with this shit, and in such a great way. He's very rolling eyes. He's very I don't stop talking, like when they're just like, oh, it's got this weapon and this weapon and this weapon and this weapon, and he's just like, it's enough. I don't want to know more. I don't need to know more ways that I'm going to die. Give up, right? But what was kind of like a nice redeeming bit at the very end there was when Shaw's like, hand over Jack, fuck it, right? Because he's just like, doesn't want to do any of this. And then Picard like gets looked at by Beverly, and it's just like, that's my kid. And so he's just like, everybody lock it down, shields up, red alert, we're gonna fight our way out of this or whatever the fuck. And Shaw just looks at him and it's just like, fine. Okay.
I guess this is what we're doing now.
All right, guys, red alert, let's get into this. And he just immediately follows commands, which is like, I mean, you know, the technically right thing to do, even though Picard's a retired admiral, he's still like a fucking admiral, you know? So it's just like, all right, what are you gonna do? Who, like, do you want a mutiny? Because the crew is gonna follow the hero of the Federation, like 9 times out of 10, you know? So,
and how about that Shaw maneuver?
Oh yeah, the Shaw maneuver,
How
as it's
cool.
being called on the internet, the Shaw maneuver, which I appreciate, where he just dropped out of warp in between the two vessels. Absolute insanity, my friend. Yeah, absolute bonkersness. Oh, and the Shrike ship fucking threw Crusher's vessel at the Titan.
Horrifying.
That is insane, dude.
Horrifying.
Oh my god. Yeah, which also explains in the end sequence, it shows the Titan with like damage in the like, if the ship's pointing up the like lower right hand quadrant of the saucer section, which is where Crusher's ship hit. So like that immediately made me wonder, like, okay, is everything we're seeing in this sequence secrets?
It is. Everything
is secrets.
Is
I have
something.
looked through that sequence like 2 or 3 times now, just to be like, oh, does this mean some shit? Does this mean some shit? I'm one of those people.
We've definitely picked out some things.
So like, yeah, I'm very interested to see kind of like where this battle goes. Of course, they run like deeper into the nebula, and it's gonna be a shenan. And I think what's gonna happen is I think that maybe Worf or maybe Geordi. I think like another star is gonna show up in the 3rd episode.
Yeah.
and they're gonna be like we save the day. They're gonna come in and like save the Titan.
I'm pretty certain that Geordi is signed on for this season.
I mean, they all are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, everybody is.
Maybe we get a new legacy character with each episode.
Yeah, right. So the first episode was Riker. The second episode is Worf, although like barely.
Yeah.
Right, but Worf.
But he's still there.
So the third episode, I mean, it might be Geordi. I'm trying to think of like whom else it could be, but it's probably Geordi. But yeah. So like those were sort of like our thoughts on that. We have a person who just arrived, so we will let you guys go. Catch you next time.